Welcome to the deep dive. Journaling. It's something many of us have probably tried at some point. But today, we're going deeper. We're looking at it as, well, a really powerful tool for holistic healing.
That's right.
We'll be drawing on some insights, particularly from Lestallion. They make journals designed specifically for this kind of intentional practice.
Yeah, and most of us, we have a notebook lying around somewhere. Maybe started, maybe not. But thinking about how a deliberate approach to journaling can support our well-being. Mind, body, spirit. It's fascinating.
It really is.
So our mission today is, to uncover the specific ways using a journal, especially one that's thoughtfully designed, can actually deepen that holistic path.
Absolutely. And Lestallion, as you might know, they really focus on these like premium notebooks. They're crafted for meditative writing, gratitude, that kind of thing. Spiritual insights, too.
They really highlight how journaling can take healing from just an idea into something tangible you do every day.
Okay, so let's kick off with the core concept, holistic healing. What are we really talking about there, and how does journaling fit in?
Well, holistic healing, at its core, it's about seeing ourselves as a whole, right? Not just separate bits. It's about nurturing the mental, the physical, the spiritual, understanding they're all interconnected, deeply so.
And life today makes that connection hard sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. So many of us face, constant stress, emotional imbalance, maybe feeling disconnected from our inner selves. It's common.
That feeling of being pulled everywhere, never quite grounded. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where journaling comes in. It gives you this structured, but also very personal, very safe space.
Okay.
A place to actually process all those complex feelings, the daily stuff that shapes us. And this processing, it's not just like venting. It's crucial for growth, for mindfulness.
So it's active.
Very active. Think of a dedicated journal, one for holistic healing, as a kind of anchor. A place to map thoughts, acknowledge feelings, track your wellness activities. It all comes together there.
Right, so it's not just a diary of events, it's an engagement with yourself. Now, Lestallion really emphasizes the quality, the design of their journals. Why is that so important for this kind of inner work?
Well, it's interesting how the physical object, the journal itself, can really support the practice. Lestallion, for instance, they use this really smooth 120 GSM paper, soft faux leather covers. It sounds maybe just nice, but it's more than aesthetics.
Okay.
It creates a tactile experience that feels, well, intentional, luxurious maybe. And when something feels good to use, feels well made, we tend to approach it with a bit more care more consistently.
That makes total sense, like creating a special space just for reflection.
Yeah.
But beyond the feel, are there specific features in their journals that are, particularly helpful for holistic healing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Several things stand out. Take the numbered pages. Seems small, right?
Yeah, simple enough.
But it lets you easily find things later. Imagine looking back over weeks, months, seeing how your mood shifted, how you handled a challenge, or just noticing moments of joy you recorded. It gives perspective.
I get that. It builds a sense of continuity, like charting your own inner journey over time.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. Then there's the built-in table of contents.
Okay, like an index for your own mind.
Kind of. It lets you organize entries around themes you're working on, maybe specific prompts, maybe tracking progress on wellness goals, maybe notes on gratitude or self-reflection, or even chakra work if that's your focus. It creates a clear roadmap, your personal roadmap, through your healing journey.
So it adds structure to something that can feel quite internal and maybe messy sometimes.
Exactly. It helps you create your own index to your thoughts and feelings. And another thing mentioned is the dashed lined pages.
Dashed lines. How does that help?
Well, it supports more free-flow writing. It's great for just capturing spontaneous thoughts, feelings, maybe even sketches or doodles. Things that don't fit neatly on solid lines, it encourages less rigidity.
Right, for those moments of just needing to get it all out without structure, a brain dump.
Exactly. And finally, the paper itself, 211 pages, wood-free, ivory-colored. Again, it adds to this smooth, elegant writing experience. The quality can genuinely make journaling feel more calming, more inspiring, less like a chore, more like a mindful practice.
So these features, they're not random. They're deliberately chosen to support this idea of journaling as a healing tool, creating the right environment for it.
Yes, precisely. It works on a few levels, really. It's a reflection tool, processing emotions, experiences, giving them shape. It's a mindfulness practice, anchoring you in the present as you write. And crucially, it's a goal-setting tool, defining healing goals, self-care goals, and actually tracking your progress.
That really clarifies it. Because often the roadblocks to well-being are exactly those things: the mental noise, the lack of structure for self-care, the difficulty defining and tracking goals.
Spot on. And a dedicated journaling practice, especially with a tool designed to help with those very things, can tackle them head on.
How so?
By making it regular, you build self-awareness. You start seeing patterns in your emotions, identifying triggers. You get better at setting realistic goals for your well-being.
You know, they say features tell, but stories sell. It actually reminds me of a friend. Let's call him Liam. He was just completely swamped at work, feeling burnt out, disconnected.
Sounds familiar for many.
Totally. He picked up a Lestallion journal, and he told me at first it was just the feel of the paper, that smooth quality that made writing feel like a tiny act of self-care, a small win in a chaotic day.
Just the physical act itself.
Yep. Yeah. Then, over time, he started using the numbered pages. He'd track his energy, his mood, see what correlated with dips and spikes. He saw stress patterns he hadn't noticed. And the table of contents, he used it to flag entries where he'd found coping tricks that worked so he could easily find them again.
That's really insightful. The journal became this tangible record, didn't it? Helping him shift from feeling overwhelmed to actually observing and understanding. The writing, the organizing, it gave him a sense of agency.
It really did. And then there was my sister Maya. She always meant to have a consistent self-care routine, but life, right.
Intentions are easy, follow through is hard.
Exactly. She knew meditation, exercise were good for her, but it felt like another chore. So she started using her Lestallion journal, almost like a bullet journal. The page layout worked well for just tracking. Did I meditate? Did I walk? Did I do something creative?
Ah, using the structure.
Yes. And she said physically ticking it off, marking her progress in the journal, became this weirdly satisfying daily ritual.
Yeah.
Seeing that visual proof of her commitment actually made her stick with it.
That's a great example of how the physical act reinforces the habit. It's not just in your head, it's there on the page. That's motivating.
Definitely. And one more, a colleague, Sam, he was trying out different mindfulness exercises, really aiming for more inner peace. He used his Lestallion journal to write reflections after each session. He often mentioned how the quality paper, the dedicated space, helped him focus, go deeper. Months later, he flipped back through those numbered pages again and was genuinely struck by the subtle shifts.
Oh, the long view.
Yeah. He hadn't really noticed the gradual growth day to day, but seeing it written down in his own words revealed how much his perspective on stress had actually changed.
See, that highlights the journal as a tool for recognizing that incremental progress. Growth often happens slowly, easily missed. The journal captures it.
So thinking about all this, how the journal itself supports the practice, the stories. What are some best practices for journaling specifically for holistic healing?
Well, there are several effective approaches that really fit this holistic model. Gratitude journaling is a big one.
Just writing down things you're thankful for.
Yeah, even just 3 things a day. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful for boosting mood and overall mental wellness. Then there's using the journal for actual self-care planning and tracking.
Like Maya did with her habits.
Exactly. Tracking habits, maybe meal plans, scheduling mindfulness moments. The structure helps make it concrete.
Okay. What else?
Guided journaling prompts are fantastic. These are questions designed to make you dig a little deeper. Things like, what emotions do I need to release today? Or how can I connect better with my inner self? They can really spark insight.
Prompts to guide the reflection. Makes sense.
Mood tracking is another one. Just noting your emotional state daily. Over time, you spot triggers, patterns. It helps with emotional regulation.
Becoming more aware of your own emotional landscape.
Precisely. And for those leaning into the spiritual side of holistic health, the journal is perfect for spiritual reflections, notes on meditation, dreams, maybe exploring chakra work or personal values. It's a container for that exploration.
It really does circle back to tending to that mind-body-spirit connection, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, what's the main takeaway? The core message about journaling and holistic healing?
I think the fundamental point is that journaling, especially when you approach it with real intention, and maybe using a tool like a Lestallion journal that's designed to support that intention, it can be truly transformative for your overall well-being. It's more than just words. It's actively engaging with your inner world. It fosters self-reflection, helps balance emotions, and leads to a much deeper self-understanding.
And it becomes this tangible record of your growth, right?
Yeah.
You can see your progress with habits, nurture those daily self-care rituals, those features we talked about, the paper, the numbered pages, the feel of it. They all help create that mindful space needed for gratitude or shadow work or just connecting.
Exactly. It takes the simple act of writing and elevates it into a deliberate, meaningful step on your path toward, well, inner harmony and self-discovery.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. How could dedicating just a few moments each day to journaling, how might that shift your perspective? Could it foster a deeper connection with yourself? Maybe think about one small step, just one tiny thing you could do today to explore this practice for your own holistic well-being. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.